Well, thank you so much for telling me that there's no sound, by the way. Cheers for that, everybody. Well, here we are, and there is sound now. Oh, well, we can take it from the top. It's good to have you heal. It's good to have you all here with me. I'll just do that. Shall I even roll the intro credits again? Make it easy for people to see where the sound kicked off at. I just roll these again for anybody tuning in late. Ta-da! And here we are back in the world of technical analysis. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll be taking a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink and Tezos in today's episode, and trying to keep things all nice and quick and easy and accessible and snappy, and give you everything you need to know in this episode for your trading over the next 48 hours, I suppose, really. And we'll be back again for more live streams as ever, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and that like button and come back for more of these. Thank you so much for joining me. And I can see that we have the likes of John, Patrick, Bruno, Julian, Navanethan in the stream here, chatting away already. That's fantastic to see y'all. Hey Crypto Crazies, are you tripping on the alt season yet? And well, I wonder if even though there was no sound, if you're able to kind of draw from the charts that I was looking at what sort of point I was making there just before. We can see, I'll just do it in reverse here. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart, and you can see that the prices dropped down, the Bitcoin dominance drop down here past the 236 level. We found it operating as support and resistance again here a couple of times, and then broke on down past the 382, and things are going on here looking towards the 50% potential area next. Now of course we have this sort of potential sort of support type aspect coming in here, but that is a story for another day. In the meantime, let's just see how things perform with our next target in mind down there at 65. Okie dokie. And if that's the case, then how does that translate across the charts? Exactly. If we go back over to look at the Bitcoin chart, we can see that there's a more or less triangular shape here at the top, as we drew in the previous live stream. And then over here, over here on the Ethereum dollar chart, you can see it is of course the same sort of scenario. So then when you look over here at the total chart, which remains above 1 trillion at the moment, you can see the same scenario on the go over here. So how do we tie the story together then of that ever decreasing big downward trend we've seen over the last few days for the dominance chart, while we see the total chart and the Bitcoin charts doing the same sort of thing? Well, the resolution in that confused image does come into play when we take a look at the altcoins and their performance versus the dollar. For instance, let's take a look at Link, and Link of course is coming in here and making up a big part of that difference, and we can see it has of course had a very strong upward trend of late, coming in and getting a couple of our targets. The difference also comes in the shape of things like Tezos over here, having had a nice move up the way, coming into the $3 region, having spent so long languishing down there below the $3 and all that sort of stuff. So we'll do the TA for this, but we can see that there's various other coins to look at, such as this kind of list of some of the bigger parents on Binance, and we can see the performance of several of these as being quite good versus the dollar today. The likes of RSR, what TradeSpot talked about in the stream recently, you'll remember as well, so giving everybody a good heads up on a potential move on that one, and of course that's happened. And we see the same sort of thing across a number of different coins that TradeSpot likes to look at from time to time as well. If he's in the stream, then hello to him, but I don't see him chatting as yet, as I see Zoner coming along and saying hi guys, and Blue Collar Baller saying there's so many moon missions it's like trying to pick an exacta. Well, you know, that's true. There are so many moon missions. I used the picture of some mountains, like a rocky outcrop sort of theme, and the space behind the big Milky Way in the sky for the thumbnail today. So let's get on with the TA, shall we? Thank you all so much for joining me as ever. I would just like to remind folk, if they would hit the like button, that would of course be good. Just a reminder for everybody. I know that you all want to do it anyway, so I'll not try and harass people with it, just mention it as a reminder thing. So where is the chat we had from the other day? Then let's just see. Okay, here we have it. And then of course, well, we've got a couple of questions to be asked here. Was this triangle drawn in inaccurately? If I stick it on the logarithmic chart, maybe that was accounting for that. No, it wasn't. Well, you see, now what we have here is the touches on the wicks providing us the lower end of the triangle that we were talking about on Bitcoin, and the prices did break down below that area, but they didn't move below where we said was our fake out territories and all the rest of it, you know, nowhere near really in terms of some of the important numbers to get to. Very much all still on the cards there, and you could look at this as sort of coming back up and finding resistance here on this on where we had our line at originally. Of course, we could just kind of edit the concept. We're still in the midst of this struggle, as represented perhaps a little bit more clearly by that total chart. As we can see, you know, it's very much kind of what's going on right now, and there's no real kind of looking past that for anything until such times as we come to a resolution of that. So what can we look at for that resolution? As I struggle to get back to the chart that I was on a moment ago, what can we look at for that, and what are we really looking for? Well, there's a couple of key areas to be aware of, and these would be the sort of things that you see if you're looking at various other indicators. Of course, TradeSpot mentioned recently, for example, the Donchian channels or the Donchian channels recently, and you know, the point in the past would have been previously coming in at around about here. This is the 4-hour time frame. On the 24-hour time frame, you'd be currently looking at the low end of the bands coming in here, where we have this low. This is the lowest wick low of the past 20 periods, and of course then the high of that would be coming in there at that top up where we have 41,700 or so. So we just removed the Fibonacci that we were looking at for now. That's one. Well, quick summary on that before I take it off here. You know, we've come up to the 618, 786, etc. Again, the golden pocket, even in today's price action with highs up there, it's 37,555, down low to 34,482, giving you that volatility within this general structure, looking to see if we can break below the 382, or of course maintain, as we have done so far, the support at the 50% area. And will we ever take out the 618 and move towards the top end? Of course, if we don't manage to achieve higher highs than our previous yada yadas, then we're looking at, there's that 786 again. So I'm just going to remove that and draw in one from between the two, from the low here down there and up towards the high that we've had. And of course that means that the 50% line on this one is where the median line of that Donchian channel, the baseline of that, would be coming in at around about this area here. So in the same way as when I broke down the Ichimoku cloud, and you can look towards the sort of confluences in these things. This is what I'm kind of doing now without actually putting it on the charts and distracting you with the actual channel itself, just giving you sort of the actual breakdown of where it is. And well, just briefly, I mean, just briefly flash there, you can see on the, let's go to the 4 hour, it probably match up better on that one. I've made a full, well no, that's where the lower band of that one is. You see, actually, so there's the channel acting, destroying the point I was trying to make really overall there with that one real quick. Obviously I've chosen too far back in time for that. Where is it? 24-hour time frame's not even lining up with it there. Where's the previous low? So in the 24-hour time frame, that's coming in at around this area here still. Well, this is where it will line up with next. You know, how many days are we away from that just happening, just so we can see. I'm sorry for being so esoteric here for people who don't know what I'm doing. That's 19 bars ago. So in 2 bars we'll be up here. So in the next 2 days we'll be up at this level where I was talking about. Sorry for being esoteric there. I just had to keep myself accurate if I'm going to be, everybody's spirit guide here. Not a financial advisor, not financial advice, but anyway, you can hook me up privately if you want to know the specifics on what I was talking about there with all of that. Anyway, this 50% line of this will be coming in soon enough here on this one, and that's what we want to stay above over the period of the next couple of days, really, just to make that point for us. If we do drop down below that area, then of course things start to look quite tasty. The previous wicks, really, in terms of the most recent past, if you were to be looking down on the lower time frames, how that would all line up, you know, you need to be taking out the 618 golden pocket on this particular Fibonacci for us to really be getting excited about things. But of course that's totally still on the cards. And then towards the top side, the 236, of course, coming in at exactly at the top end of that triangle, breaking past that could precipitate the measured move. So your targets towards top side here on this one, 49,000 currently. Target towards the downside in the big old scheme of things, of course, is coming in here at the 1272 at so that lines up all pretty much, you know, great, good enough for that, spot on. Let's call it like hunky-dory there at $25,000. There's your top side, downside. So you're talking about a huge range between the two. Let me just kind of make it easy for us. The top side was coming in at around about that price point there, and the lower side was coming in at about that price point there. So that's 50 going down towards, if my fives were ever legible, 25. So we know that my bad fives. Oof. So you know that's what we're talking about at the minute in terms of the grand old Duke of York, the big old scheme, the big old stuff. So if we were to go up there, then of course in terms of the lulls in the community here, what we're currently waiting to see is if Zoner turns out to be correct with his prediction of the 27th of January. So all eyes on that. Hi Zoner, by the way, in the chat. That's a good laugh for us to have, but of course that comes in with those targets for us, and that's what we're looking at. If you would like me to look at anything else, such as the MACD, which of course, you know, if I'm looking at just at the histogram right now, I'm not getting massive takeaways from it. There's the potential for some hidden bullish divergence, I suppose, potentially, maybe not. Actually, it doesn't look like it there as we zoom in. No, it's not. Sorry, scrap that. The yeah, whatever. I've not got the lines on there. You're feel free to use the lines as well, of course, if you like yourself. The DMI right here, right now, is still in chop territory. There was the strength of trend potential for us with that downward movement, but of course we haven't actually managed to do anything significant with it yet. On the daily time frame, we're looking here and saying, oh, you know, we could cross or we could go up. This is all poised, and it's the same 50k 25k story on the big old picture that we're looking at. Upward slope here on the stochastics, you know, can that be maintained? Currently coming in at the neutral line for that one. And yeah, cool. Okay, that'll kind of do for this. That's good enough. I think that's pretty good. I think that's more than comprehensive enough for the current scheme of things. We can look down as well towards the low term time frames, just for now, I suppose, and say up, high. That's okay. Doing okay there. Turn around here. Maybe this is a decent enough time for it to go up and try that 37,000. And again, obviously be wary at 36,850, 800 or so, where we have that line coming in for the potential reversal point, you know, or bounce back down the way at that stage. But that's what you're looking at just now. In terms of this minute trend, and that works in terms of just the current sort of structure. Cool. So everything's good on that front. So I hope everybody's doing really well. Nice to see you here, Arthur Marca. Thank you for giving me a wee lol on the title there. Thanks very much for that. K-Doc, thanks for hitting the like button. Thank you very much for that as well. I do endeavor to give everybody a shout out that hits the like button, and I can see that there's some people who haven't hit it yet. So friendly reminder, do as the K-Doc does. Anyone got any top tips for Polkadot parachain auctions? No, I would like to know what that. I would like to know even fully to comprehend exactly what you're saying there. I would love to be able to answer that comprehensively right now, but I can't for you. As you can see, by the way, I've zoomed out loads on the chart, so my numbers are smaller and my list is smaller, and there's like kind of a tighter frame here for everybody to look at. Let me know how you're getting on with that, or is it straining your old eyeball stickles too much? Bollinger Bands in 4-hour BTC squeezing Bitcoin imminent ? So let's just jump up towards the 4-hour. I'll answer that little bit of chat here coming in from crypto_god. And let's just do that real quick. Why not? Everybody likes a bit of random shout out from the audience. TA, of course. By the way, I am tired. I'm tired today, so I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to try and keep everything nice and snappy. It would be nice if I knew how long I'd been streaming for so far. Well, I've started about 15 minutes or so far, so that's good. We've got all the TA for Bitcoin out of the way already. I'll fly through the other ones and try and get the show done within an hour. I will not be doing extra bonus coins and looking all around the world today for, you know, the freebies. If people want to donate, that's cool. It's a different kettle of fish altogether. What am I looking for? The BBs? Yeah, they're right at the top there. Let's stick on the old bibis. Hi, Bibi. So here we have the squeeze that we're talking about with regards to this. Well, you know, I mean, of course that ties in perfectly with the everything we've already discussed. This is just another way of coming towards the same sort of conclusions for us. What are we looking at in terms of the numbers and levels here? You know, the 20 period SMA obviously coming in here at 36,000. That's going to give you your middle line area for us. And when we zoom in like this, by the way, and just have the price action exclusively of the triangle on the screen, we can see that the average price paid is going to be in around about that median line of that Bollinger Band as well for these you know, that makes a lot of sense. If I, you know, no secret, if I stick roughly 20 candles on the chart here, then it's going to line up with that average number. But anyway, what we're looking at here is this coming right about the middle of it. So, you know, we've got a bit of work to do. In terms of the top side, you're talking 37,700, at 37,800. Can we break it? How are we doing it when we do it? Do we get volume coming in at the same time? Are we going to come up with any sort of, well, you know, we've still really got to break the 40,000 area before you can actually get excited. Everything below that is going to be a fake out. Of course, in terms of the 4-hour Bollinger Bands, what this really means when is that, you know, that the chances of us getting a return into them after having had them squeeze is of course a lot higher, which is one of the things that's kind of slightly somewhat overlooked when it comes to this sort of a thing, you know, or whatever. Like you've got to be careful. Of course, they expand out loads here, but you've got to be careful about whether or not you come back in again thereafter if we do get some sort of bounce out the way. If we did, that would probably just kind of look like it from a different point of view, that we're having a retest of the sort of the structure essentially, really, as any pattern really drawn on the charts is just an analogy for describing market structure. I mean, sorry, it's just another way of describing. I've talked about this numerous times, that they're almost just kind of metaphors for what's going on in this structure, so you can talk to somebody else about it and them understand it very easily, or for you to categorize it and help you find those patterns in your old brain about your memories of similar events, etc. Anyway, yeah, so they are squeezing, they are getting a bit tighter. What are they looking like on the 24-hour time frame as well? You know, it's been a wee while since we've been at the top, obviously, of them, so that's that. Where are we looking as well? Well, we could come up and test the top, stay, you know, it's within the realms of reason that we could come up and test this top and actually put in a higher high and take out our previous wick and the top end of that and stay, you know, within the sort of the structure of the Bollinger Band without, you know, excessively breaking it, and then of course collapsing thereafter or whatever necessarily. So that's decent. But the Bollinger Band analysis, when you're right in the middle of it, is a little bit sucky, you know, because essentially, really, when you're in the middle of the Bollinger Band, as you are in the 24-hour, the 4-hour, the 12-hour, are we on the 1 hour as well, the 2 hour? Yeah, you see, like essentially all you're looking at is saying that they're tightening. So, you know, and we know that from the pattern anyway. We know that from looking at all of these momentum oscillators down below, and the drop off dramatically on the ADX there, and the fact that down there on the 1 hour it's dropped down below this point here, which I use, where it turns from red to blue on my particular customized DMI. We know that volatility is coming in, of course, so we could have that, but the particular type of volatility that we're getting is a lack of trend and move anyway. You could, you know, see a return to these prices as opposed to yeah, whatever. Anyway, yeah, the Bollinger Band's great and everything. I love using them, I talk about them all the time, but essentially when you're in the middle of them, all you're really talking about is that you are you're essentially just looking at this. If I change that to 20 instead of 200, you know, and you're talking about this. And of course, if you start seeing this going sideways, it means that the Bollinger Bands are getting tighter. So, you know, you don't need the Bollinger Band on for that whole middle of the Bollinger Band effort. So they're expanding here because they're not going sideways. Go back in time and it's going sideways here, so they're obviously tightening. Pop the Bollinger Bands back on again, just so you can understand how these things work. And you see tightening in here as we're going sideways, expanding as we're going in a direction. So again, when you describe it, when you talk about the Bollinger Bands tightening, you're talking about essentially it's synonymous with saying that there's a lack of slope on the 20 period moving average. The fact is that we're in here anyway, I digress. Hey, I digress. Right, that's enough of that. Thanks so much for the question, though. I enjoyed attempting to give it some sort of degree of an answer. At least I wanted to do it justice. Somebody saying something that was worth, you know, a discussion point that people have all the time that I think kind of only ever scratches the surface. And if we're going to talk about something, why not do it in that rocky fashion? So that's what I just did there. How about that? Jump on over and let's take a look at Ethereum. Do you know what, I did actually want to start the show today by taking a look at the 2-star performers, but we'll leave the best for last. So here we are, and we're roughly 22 minutes into the stream, 23 minutes into the stream. But there's that silent period at the start. Whatever. Here we go. Let's take a look at these, and we'll take the Bollinger Bands off. Suffice it to say that the story is the same here with these ones jumping up towards the 24-hour time frame. Actually, it's not quite the same. We're not at the median line of this one. Still a ways to go. If you wanted to come down to that, it would still be putting in a higher low. So there you go. That's coming in closer to the 618, and that's that 10,060-ish area that we've been kind of talking about. Flirting with getting down past the high 1100s, but we've not actually managed to do it today. Flirting with trying to get into the high 1200s, and not really managing to do that either today with this doji of a day that we've had. Jumping on down towards the 4-hour and seeing that it's at this stage where things look kind of similar in terms of the whoopsie doopsie Bollinger Bands. So anyway, hiding that off there because we don't need that. We've got the 20 moving average that can give us a sort of quick snapshot of that if we want to leave that on for now. What we can see here with this one is, though, the chat is the volatility potential here is strong with this one, as we can see in the background of that DMI over there going white. I've explained that in the past, so I'll not endeavor to do so just now. We can see this is happening at the time on the 24-hour time frame, where we've got the ADX sloping down below the blue line here. We've got the convergence between the two DM lines, so there's that. Over here on the 1-hour time frame, you can see we've had numerous instances of this so far. Let's just do a quick sort of pointer to people to say, well, during this period here, it wasn't very much of it, but what happened? The candle started at this sort of a price. The volatility then dance ended here with the white stopped being on there. Then we saw the prices subsequently came back to that price just there. Curious. So what do we have here at this point where we had the next one happen? Well, the dance ended and the prices, well, actually the dance ended and it picked up again before we got back there, but sure enough we did come back again thereafter. And then looking down here, we saw the price ended of this particular, the last particular volatility thing there. Didn't actually come back down again, but what we're seeing in the after these white sections go away is, of course, jiggery in the prices. We're doing something in these points here. So I think it's fair to say, when we're looking at the 4-hour time frame, that there could be some movements in the near future, and I would be aware of the potential for fake outs, obviously, and everything else. With regards to this one, we don't have any clear signals coming from anything in particular to take a look at really right now. Perhaps if I stuck the actual lines on the MACD, there might be something to be said about it. Perhaps, peut-être. We're in here at the neutral line for the RSI, so waiting for something to happen on that front. Stochastics, of course, as well. Looking at perky currently, if we were to follow through with what we've done recently, but what does that take us up as high as? Well, it takes us up towards our previous little high over there, but not enough to say that we've really broken the back of this one. No camels being hurt in the making of this technical analysis. But there is this clear line here towards the downside we want to be aware of, 1100, and this clear line towards the top side we want to be aware of, 1350, because of course breaking past those is going to be breaking the overall breaking it towards the top side breaks the structure when going for those all-time highs. Maybe get them this week. Towards the downside, though, really we've got to look beyond that, down to the 950s, really, to say that we've really kind of broken this one way or the other. However, the move off the back of it is, of course, the distance between that at 1350 all the way down to 950. So you're talking 400 buckaroonies, and coming from here, that positions us up with the potential to go up as high as perhaps, the 1600, 1700 level. That's possible, and also as low as the 800 level as well. So there's your sort of 50-25 split that you had on the Bitcoin pricing happening over here as well. Things of note, the volume, as you can see, diminishing throughout all of this period, which is what you would expect during a consolidation phase as we're waiting for stuffs to be happening. Things of note as well. There's this potential cross just here on the no-sure thing as well as it happens. I'll just get that out of the way in a minute. I'm not sure if I'm wanting to introduce these to the channel or not, but after TradeSpot made his video, I thought I'd stick them on there just so that people could see them in action from time to time. And that's going to do us really for the Ethereum technical analysis. Let me know if you want anything more out of your analysis. We're waiting for stuff to happen. Stuff very truly could happen. And what do you want to happen? Well, that's always worth having an idea about. Personally, what I'd like to see happen for the lols and 24-hour time frame would be for the Ethereum prices come down here to the median line of the Bollinger Band and confound people somewhat by extending out the duration of what we're seeing right now, and everybody would be all like crying out about it with their unironic emergency tears. That's what I'd like to see happen. So jumping on over towards the link and Tezos pricing, better performing coins over the last couple of days in terms of what they have achieved. Let's just draw in the measuring stick here, hiding off all that noise. Coming in from this low, for instance, over there at 1250, our last little bit of a low there, and coming up towards these highs. What did we get in terms of an increase in price? It's actually difficult for me to read this, it's so small. 89% increase. Whoopie doopie. That's mad, isn't it? Well, we did it, guys and gents and gals and dolls. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. And where we've come up as high is, of course, the 1618 in there at this $21 point. But there was actually some other targets that we've got here still higher, waiting to be, coming in. Can they perform? Will we get these targets coming in to play next? Of course, $23, where we have been as high as well. Let's not forget where we have had the 1272 from the sort of the highs over there last year in August, and down to the lows, subsequent lows. What we have here is the high as well at the 1618, which we could, in terms of what we just did it there now with this smaller Fibonacci retracement point, we could be looking to next at $28. Well, that's fan-dabby dozy. Is there anything to really be worried about right now? Well, I suppose you could make the argument that we're looking at this and asking, will it get the support it needs to get, or will we see a little crossover there? Now, if it does cross, it doesn't necessarily mean the end of the world, but it can signal that perhaps, we're going to see at least a little bit of struggle for a while, as we saw back there when it happened last. What else do we have is, of course, this little bit of the old bearish divergence. Just here and here between these two. So let me just stretch it all out so you can see it on your screens at home in the comfort of your own living rooms. And there you can see there's just this, it's not massively obvious or whatever else, but there it is. Now, if I ever said there was what should be called hidden divergence, there you go, that would be like more like it, right? But instead what we do is we let the monkeys name things in technical analysis, and that means, of course, everything goes a bit doolally. So anyway, that's what we have. There is that chance of seeing a withdrawal from these prices. Now, is that anything to be totally scared of? No, it's just a warning, and besides, we're doing really quite well. There is also this cross potential to happen here on the stochastics. Now, of course, what we want to see is this sort of thing where we push on a little bit more, or whatever, we push on a bit more and get up towards those next targets, because of course there's still more than 10% left on the table just to get up towards your next one. For example, actually even just to get back up towards the $23, you're talking the guts of 10%. So there's plenty of trading to be done around these parts, folks. But what we're going to have to take a closer look at is, and amongst all this disaster zone of noise, give me my chart back here. So if we see downside movement, where could that potentially start to come in and be a problem for us? So just going to borrow a Fibonacci from the past. I'm going to steal it actually. So this is our previous low in there on the 11th of January, that one that we talked about before, the 89% move up, and that's our high. And of course then we see that the $21 in it around about where we've got the other Fibonacci. It's all lining up. It's almost like the Fibonacci gods have decided that they're the ones that are going to do the trading. Someone is leaking your phone number, mate. My phone number. All right. That's not my phone number, by the way, ladies and gents. That's so funny. It's always funny to have these spam bots come along, right? Do not message. Anybody ever see any messages that are like this at all from anybody? It's not me, right? It's not me. What do I say? Rely on yourself. You're never going to get a message from me talking shite like anything that they talk there. Let me just hide the user. Hide user. There we go. I'll report the user first. Report. It is harassment, no. Hate speech, no. Child abuse, no. Pornography, no. Unwanted commercial content or spam. It seems so, after those other ones, just to say unwanted commercial content or spam seems so tame. Anyway, reported. So I reported that chap. Thanks, we've received your report. If we think the guy who's copied your name and is putting out phone numbers is doing something not worthy, then we'll ban him. Right, yeah, sure. So we want to stay above the 236 over here at $21. Now, if we do see it dropping down below that, the three targets we have in mind are $19, $18, and $18.20 are pretty much there. 18 or you probably push past that to 18, I'd say, and then 16 down to 16.50 or so. 16. Yeah, down to 16.50. Of course, all offering up decent buy areas. I'd be worried about this previous high being taken out, but of course that's not that massive a deal. The biggest worry as well in terms of anything on before that would be taking out the 1950 area where we had our previous couple of lows. Now, if we did do that, then that's just kind of confirming this is a local high, and that's a little bit by divergence, etc., etc. Right now we don't have that confirmed. We could just easily burn off the divergence, so it'd be lovely to see that happen, and I would prefer to see that starting with, of course, staying above where we are now. Plenty of good trading opportunities, easy enough to manage your risk in and around key areas, as we can see here, everything being respected so well with all the different lines on the chart. Now, I mean, I know to the uninitiated this would look a bit mental, but really it isn't. Those other ones there for the context of the targets outside of these zones. Really, you can manage your risk very easily amongst all these zones here all together. So that's your analysis on this one. I've already looked at these things enough. Suffice it to say, things overall still look very promising, having been very rewarding so far. High time frames looking okay there overall. Want to push past this in terms of the 1 hour and get, continue that on the up the way. Below the EMA here, of course, that's the Bollinger Band. Obviously getting a bit tight there with the way it's going sideways, as we spoke about already. Still plenty of room on this one. Probably not pushing outside the Bollinger Band too much. Overall, nice upward slope. Obviously, be concerned about wedges in these upward areas, but that's the pullback from them. If you just push on again to the next level, the pullback takes you back down, and it constitutes a retest and forms a channel, sort of three out of 4 times in that context. So probably be okay until we see major structural changes. Okay, cool. So jumping over towards Tezos, and how far into this are we now? It's 20:09 on my clock, so I guess that's 15 minutes in plus that's 35 minutes. Tezos versus the USDT. So hi Tezos, how you doing, pal? Hope you're doing well. Oh, I see you are. You've done quite well recently. How did this come in? Did we get a bit of the old bearish divergence? Well, my word, we did in fact get that here on the 12-hour time frame. Does that translate across towards the higher time frames, my friend? Well, there's this downward slope here, and we're still respecting it as yet, with this kind of asking questions about whether or not we're going to push on up past that 50% Fibonacci retracement zone. But it is the 50% Fibonacci retracement zone. Maybe credit where credit is due, so long as we stay above the 267 price point, 262, let's call it 270, then we're doing pretty spiffing overall. This is a nice upward move. There's the potential to burn this off and just continue to go towards the top side. That would be nice to see. We're seeing this little bit of this cross here on the 24-hour time frames of between these two numbers, as I already intimated in one of the previous charts. Could spell negativity, but as yet we're still really positioned just to keep on climbing on up the way. We come down towards this low end here. You do tend to see a bit of a turnaround at these points. But if we were to go up and up and up, then of course you're going to see this just sticking around here, sticking around towards that low number area, and of course that would push us up with our next target coming in at the 340s to the 352 area. It's reasonable to look towards that. Overall, we have had this the ideas in the past, such as inverted heads and shoulders and the likes, cup with handles, all sorts of chat in here, but the volatility has been quite enlarged, and it's pushed us beyond certain key areas overall. If there is a couple of little ones just to look to in terms of looking beyond what we've already talked, if you want to think about how we've kind of talked that into the ground or whatever to death already, then let's just kind of look between these two areas just the now. And it's totally reasonable to do this here and say that we have a couple of targets. Now, of course, we've already pushed past 100% by virtue of come past that wick, as we know, when we came into the $3 and 17 cents area or so, but they've still got targets up above. Easy ones to look to: 335, 381, and the next target towards the top side, 470. In terms of just that Fibonacci facials there, whatever, Fibonacci face chap. Then if we were to do the same sort of concept going from lows to highs, where do we need to stay above? And it comes in at 281 ideally, but we've already discussed the key areas for us and they remain the case. Now if we do push on down though, what we could look to would be down towards that 222 area again. If we were to keep going down the way, that at this stage offers up a decent buying opportunity should this be the bottom that we're hoping it could be. Looking up the way to kind of give you that nice sense of potential sort of continuation past this point. Let's just kind of remember that we had these highs, lows, higher highs and higher lows so far, looking pretty good for a potential turnaround on this one. How could we feel that we've really broken the back of this? And we'll just pop that one on that I hid already in the past again and say, well, if we took out the 50% area and closed up above it, then we're looking pretty good, and that comes in at $3.03. And I hope everybody that's joining us so far wants to hit that like button and do the stream a favor and all the rest of it. And if you're enjoying the stream, then I hope you hit the subscribe button and come back for more and all that. And I have more or less really done the technical analysis, so I'm just going to kind of shave off some rough edges that I've left on there, sand them down a bit, get a nice finish to the show if you like, polish it a bit, unless we have of course somebody coming in with a particular request right now, because I want to keep it sweet and nice and easy. We're talking here that we're under an hour for the stream so far, so that is good and nice one. Well, okay, cool, so let's just see what people are chatting about in the chat. That was funny whenever Zoner, when you said somebody was leaking my phone number. I hope that person gets sent to the YouTube pits of hell. It's cool, it's Rocky. I've just sent him 200k and a pot noodle. He has an Indian accent over the phone, weirdly enough. Yeah, it's my phone accent. And I really appreciate the pot noodle, and I'll look forward to add in my spices to that one and making a custom pot noodle. Indian prince, well, yes, somewhat of an Indian prince. He's it's like the Jekyll to my Hyde, I suppose. Did you see my link chart I posted in your Discord, Rocky? Now let me just see, did I see it? Let's go on over. I don't think I did, because I've not looked in the Discord today really, but let's bring up the old Discordia, my friends. Log in. I haven't hit that button even though I'm logged in already. Let's just do it, Discord. Now, of course, I could just go directly to the correct link and not have to do that, but whatever. Here we have Link and Tezos. Zoner, was it a wee while ago? I'm going to just scroll up a bit. Or was it somewhere else that you put it in fact? Because, of course, I want to see it. I want to see what we're talking about here. What a lovely move that would have been, hey? What was the price at that time? 12 bucks. That was that low. Oof, 89% profit. Nice. Of course, I'm not sure if that was the exact one. Was it the exact one? When was that posted? 12th of the 9th, and today's date is the 18th. Yeah. Anyway, that general idea worked very, very, very well. Yeah, Zoner, where was it, by the way? Let's just check it out. Let's check it out. I could search here for Zoner. That's how you would do this, right? Zoner, messages, Zoner. Let's do that. Does that work for me? And let's see. This is. I'll give this girl a shout out. I thought she was funny. I'll bring up her YouTube channel real quick, actually. Let's watch one that I've not seen yet. Give her a like. She's called Katya Vugud, and she's got 115 subscribers. And if this is the correct one and it's not somebody reposting her videos, I think she deserves a couple more subscribers. So I've seen that one. My deep analytics on why I invested in Matic. 52 seconds. Let's split her. Will I get problem for this?
Hey guys, it's me again. Another deep analysis of why I decided to invest with Matic. I knew it was called Matic this whole time. Matic. So I found Matic Network on Binance.
Anyway, she's funny. and she's trying to make jokes about stuff. So anyway, why did we get distracted? Zoner, you sent me off looking for this. Oh, look at that line. That's perfect. So where are we where are we going to? That's taking out these highs. That's the 1 hour. Oh, did that work out for us? What time was this? I didn't see it at the time that you posted it in at. So somewhere between 5 and 6 p.m. on the 5 and 6 p.m. yesterday. 5 and 6 p.m. yesterday. How did that turn out? Somewhere between 5 and 6 p.m. yesterday. So over here, no wait, that was the date I was looking at, was it? Ugh, I'm distracted, Zoner. Anyway, it was great. It was great. It was great. Didn't really do your comment justice there, but there we have it. Oh, wonder if he would come collect. Did you see my link? Oh, he'll be joining Prince if he keeps this up. Hi, Traceborn says K-Doc there earlier on. Hey, Traceborn, good to have you here. I've done all the TA already, by the way, just for anybody that's tuned in. So if you want to make me take a look at another coin, then I suppose this is your opportunity to suggest it right now, right here, right now, ladies and gents. Hey, Traceborn says Artipile, or if you want me to take a look at any particular concepts that you have, you know, if you want me to take a look at any indicators or anything. Or support and resistance that you might have identified. Yo, Traceborn into house, says John Scott. Hey everyone, hey Rocky, hey my call on ecstasy did come true. That's right, Kevin, it did in fact. So of course we were talking about whether or not we would get up as high as 3 buckaroonies, and well, it happened, and fantastic to, you know, fantastic. It's great to see. We're seeing this sort of this is an interesting looking sort of shape just here. We'll not get carried away with anything about it at the minute. I'd like to see this continue on up the way. So far, you know, we're doing okay on that front in terms of these time frames. There's a bit of divergence on the go there. I wonder how we'll handle things. We're just at this 20 EMA here on the hourly, so I'd like to see it continue if it can. If it can't, then we've already discussed targets towards the downside, which we're all happy enough with being above. Essentially, the fact that we've come up so far at the minute has been really, really good. Want to try and push on past that 50% point. That's the key for us at the minute. Staying above the 236 overall is fine, and that means really staying above the 270s. Jimothy Blumberg, yeah, great name. Did you go over Cardano? I'm Latte. Latte. And John Toby was talking about, have you looked at VET? Okay, so that's cool. Abdurrahim Ozo Classic, but Navanethan, knock Navanethan, hey. Tell you what, competitor for name of the community. Have to say, buddy, this is a tight run thing. This would come down to a photo finish. With the name Abdurrahim, I'm going to think it's Abdurrahim Ozukhaliser, Abdurrahim Ozukhaliser. Easier to say, harder to spell, perhaps, when it comes to your name. I wonder. Wow, that's quality. Anyway, is crypto a big bubble, my friend? Yes, it is a big bubble. Now, so much of the bubbles what we had in the past are characterized by, you know, their reputation preceding them. The last big bubble we had was the housing market bubble, and what's happened to house prices since? Well, they've gone up, my friend. The big bubble before that was the .com bubble. What happened to the price of these technology shares since? Well, they've most certainly gone up a lot. So bubbles, you know, is a part of the old Keynesian economics. You know, I'm a firm believer in that, if I'm honest with you. Whether or not, you know, in terms of the macro level, for sure. You know, in terms of the little sort of, it's like quantum versus, you know, normal relativity physics and stuff like that. It's like that type of dichotomy they've got there. I do certainly believe about it in the macro, and that's what we experienced. Yeah, so there'll be a lot of blood on the streets at some points in the future, for sure. Definitely massive opportunity. It's a great world to be in. Is crypto a big bubble? The answer to that is going to be yeah, and we're going to reap the rewards of that. That's going to be great for all of us. And then we'll just keep on doing that again and again and again, right? and just hope it keeps on bubbling and bubbling and bubbling. She's so serious about it though. What, Rocky Outcrop, I'm going to laugh so hard. Yeah, she's good at that. She's good at that. She's good, especially for, and don't take it the wrong way, my friends across the pond. She's pretty good at that for an American, right? And you know, in the way that it's hard, like in the way that the UK office is it's so dry and that you know, there's a lot of the sort of UK British people are quite good at delivering that sort of, that's, they're talking seriously and it's absolute codswallop stuff. And Americans, I don't know, not, she does a very good job of it, so fantastic. I don't know, I was skirting quite close to saying stuff about Nick, but they're not. It's just that I imagine it's quite hard to get the cast for the US version of The Office, for example, whereas in England they probably just had to go down the road to an office start filming and put Ricky Gervais in the room and everything would have worked out pretty much the same. So there's this girl on Twitter, she does crypto horoscopes. Wow, that's what you want. Altcoins, bitcoins, or shitcoins, she's going to the moon. Aye, she's going to the moon, all right. I think so. Everybody can give her a like as well on the show. Go and check out TradeSpotting's channel, check out her channel as well. Oh, Susan, check it out. Susan Warrender in the house. Nice to have you, Susie. Is back in the house. Artie Pyle, about the only thing that I've been watching outside of the ones you've covered is Polkadot. Right, cool, okay. It's been doing really fantastically well. They've got a good team behind them. Garden Profit, nice to have you here, Brandon. Good to see you again. Scotty Sniper, you managed Scotland 2070 yet, chap? You managed Scotland 2070 yet, chap? You managed Scotland 2070 yet, chap? No, I've not managed Scotland 2070. I must be too tired. I'm not understanding anything. Yeah, at least no 30% pullback. Yeah, exactly. There'll always be big pullbacks like that. At least it wasn't Murder Monday. Yeah, it wasn't Murder Monday. Right. At least, yes. Right. What did I want to what did I want to check a look at, my friends? Let's check a look at, I'm kind of putting together this sort of most popular list. Have we got Dot on this one? No, let me just add Dot real quick. Dot USDT. Close, and let's just bring this up real quick, and I'll take a quick look at Cardano and a quick look at VET, and then I'll tune out. Right, again, doing really well overall. Little note for concern with these bodies. There's going to be a little dynamic here in the 1 hour time frame with regards to bodies, and it'll turn into wicks again when we go back up to the higher time frames. But just to be aware of this key area here in terms of this previous wick there, kind of defining a low for us in terms of, you know, we don't want to be going down lower than that. That would be dodgy dangerous. Now, of course, in terms of the bodies, we are getting lower lows along the way here, and what we're seeing is that it's not divergent as yet, although the way this is shaping up, it could easily turn that way. We're also coming into this oversold territory, so can we get this to turn around as it has done so often? When it turns around, it tends to kind of stay turned around on the 1 hour time frame, giving you a nice bit of respite. Can we get that here or not? Currently it's not looking great, and we're also coming down into volatility territory where we could see a move and then a move back up again, or a move back down again, you know. This is what I'm looking at right now. I'm going to draw that in as well in terms of, you know, just this Fibonacci sequence that you have there between the high and the low, and bearing in mind then that's, you know, we're below this 236 over here, and that's where the 20 period moving average here is coming in at on the 1 hour time frame. Therefore, you know, you can imagine as well with these sideways price action, as we spoke about earlier on in the episode, that the Bollinger Bands would be tightening in and around about this zone, waiting for this to really kind of stop consolidating. And, you know, if it is to be doing any sort of trend, you could definitely make the case for it to be being a downward trend that we've been in on the 1 hour time frame in this period of time. But it really does give a chance for the oscillators to reset somewhat, going up towards the 4 hour time frame and seeing how we came in for this high and it was bearishly divergent, and we've subsequently sloped down the way, and we come down towards the median line here of the Bollinger Bands where the 20 simple period moving average is, and you know, we're really coming in and saying, like, we're going to give this a proper test in terms of the 236 and whatnot. There is the And that's in the 4 hour time frame. So we drop down below the neutral line of the stochastics, etc. We can see the trend here having kind of faded its way away a bit here, but we're all positioned in a way that can actually resume it. Having taken advantage of the chance to reset slightly after the high, putting in a slightly lower high and then this lower low, and what that then translates into in terms of nothing in terms of the 24 hour time frame, I suppose, really as yet, but in terms of this one, let me just use the crappy drawing tool. Is you've got this app operating like a flag currently, and if this is a flag, then of course what type of flag would that be? That would be why is it so curvy? That would be a bull flag. Oh, what have we got here? Dennis. Cheers, Dennis. What we've got here is a bull flag, and that would be, of course, spectacular. Now I'm going to continue to then use that little bit of a Fibonacci retracement for us between that high and that low to come up with some targets towards the top side, and just say that we could be looking as high as 20, 21 and 23, and these numbers aren't that dissimilar to the link numbers. The price action recently is dissimilar to the link price action in the sense that it's just been really, really strong, and throughout for the last, this is the 24 hour time frame, and this is the polka dot chart, and this is the link chart. Similar, really similar to between the two of them. So I take back what I say when I said, but this has been really strong. And if you could just kind of edit it in your head, so I said this is similar to the link chart, and then take out the bit where I said but in between. We did have this sort of rounding off area, and it was like asking questions of itself there, but it managed to achieve above and beyond, and it's done everything that you could have possibly wanted it to do in the recent past. So that's great. Of course, we've got questions coming in here with regards to the remember the prices then? Remember the prices then when we're talking about it? 570, 430. Wow. This was obviously the parallel channel to be aware of, and when we broke above it, then history became history for us. Came back down, retested that zone. Gives you a clear idea then again that looking between these 2 points here and the top, maybe just all time. Nah, screw it. That's something that can happen, just for sort of curiosity's sake for yourselves. We would know about it in terms of the smaller Fibonacci's if we are breaking down below these areas. Looking between yeah, no, it's all good. I'm not going to do too much analysis in terms of downside targets. Just suffice it to say that if we were to break down below $14.60, then that would be, enough of a warning for us to say that there's probably not much point in taking the subsequent sort of 30% drop off in price to get down towards the 20 periods simple moving average. Now, this is in terms of where we are right now. This would, of course, shrink over the period of the next few days. Is that there's the passage of time effect, the whole time effect, the whole planet orbiting the sun effect comes into play, and yeah, doing well. If we were to go down, past this structure here is really where it starts to get dodgy. In terms of the top side, we've already covered those targets. That's kind of going to do for that one. Let's take a look at VET. Okay, as well, by the way, strong trend, good stuff. Yes, divergence, yes, bearish divergence, yes, there's bearish divergence. Okay, it's reset some on the small term time frames. It's still got it in the big ones. Could burn it off if we go on to other areas. We've never really spent much time in the overbought territory as yet. Just imagine how things could go. $30 becomes something on the horizon fairly quickly at that stage, right? Cool. VET. This is what I was thinking with regards to this one as well, is that, while the bodies are coming in close to coming in where I've had our previous body closes at there in the recent past at the 3 cent level, we really need to be taking out 3.2, so let's just call it 3 cents and a third of a cent towards the top side. Then we're breaking our previous high, and really, things start to get quite tasty at that point, and we could be looking up even higher. By quite tasty, what do I mean? And when we look at the target source, the top side, when we take out that zone where this 1618 is, pardon me, here. On the Fibonacci was drawn in from the August highs down towards the subsequent lows in November. Then the 2.24. Dennis, did you just do that twice? Because then if you did, then double thank you. If that's just told me twice, then thank you. Really do appreciate it. Thanks so much, buddy. That's quality. Yeah, we're taking a look here at, by the way, Dennis, you're going to feature in the credits at the end of the show now. Fingers crossed, I'll watch them. I hope it works when I roll the credits. Hopefully I figure out what button to push to do that. And your name will come up at the end because you donated. How cool is that? That's cool. You get your name up twice. That's quality. So yeah, then we're looking up towards that number. I need to zoom in with my head. Hold on. 40, 5.5 and 7. Yeah, so the next three targets in terms of if things go wild. Now, don't go trading off the back of this right now, but just this is V chain. Again, how the way that Polkadot and stuff like that have also got big targets towards the top side. There's some really big ones here as well with regards to this. 43, 56 and 71 in terms of, this number. If I call this number right now 30, you're talking, 4 cents, 5.5 cents, 7 cents, and that is of course huge. And that's the same sort of way as what you could be looking up with Polkadot potential going up really high potential. So that's better than what we're seeing with in terms of potential targets than what we're seeing with Bitcoin right now for the near medium term future. So it makes me wonder about the Bitcoin dominance chart, and if indeed this is one of those alt seasons that we've had. We had one in the summertime and stuff like that as well. We have numerous alt seasons like this. So let's call it alt week or something like that. That's that. Are you talking about me? No, you're not talking about me. Just in the chart thing, somebody's saying he can sleep. Yeah. You are talking about me. Please fill John in so he can sleep. That's cool. Wait, right. No, you're not talking about me. Hey, Susan, did you finish your message yet? I don't know. There's some in jokes happening there, which is cool. Okay, great. Yeah, that's exciting. There's this is what we want to see happen elsewhere at the minute. When I talk about the potential for this, these things to be coming in and kissing or whatever, sometimes I call it Rick and Morty lips. Where's the Rick and Morty lips at the minute? Is it on Bitcoin? Let me just go and find the Rick and Morty lips. Not quite there at the minute with the lips, but you sometimes got these weird Rick and Morty lips. Anyway, when it comes in for some Rick and Morty lips, you want to see them kiss but then run away again afterwards, and this has happened so far, and we're in the potential for this to just start saying to people that there's a good strong trend on the go, and that'll happen afterwards, and that's when the FOMO kicks in, and that's when you get your run towards the top side, and that's when you get your extra targets. And of course that all boils down to whether or not we're able to take out that, and I'm calling it 33 at the minute in terms of those numbers. Taking out 3 1/3 cents, it means that we could be looking towards 4, could be looking towards whatever. And all of those are huge percentage up the way moves. Of course, we want to be managing your risk really judiciously in this period of time, because all of this could come crashing down, of course, very easily. And the way that we would identify that would be, first off, not achieving that higher target, etc. But actually, while that's okay to have happen, we're just, failing at these other various levels down below. The 1272, this 0% line, and it's not going to be too much of a surprise when I draw in a Fibonacci from the lows to the recent highs to see that there's various, lining up here with the structure of what we're looking at. So an engulfing candle first off on where we are right now. Taking this out on the daily, for instance, would be bad, because that would be doing the 236 at once. Coming down and taking out this structure over here is bad, because that's doing this sort of the 618 Fibonacci. Coming down towards these areas, then that's coming in past all sort of the reasonable return points, etc, etc, etc. So you can see the structure and everything lining up there. It all just adds up fairly nicely. So long as we stay above 25, I'm quite happy, which is remarkable to say given the overall percentage difference there being a 15% drop. So overall okay, but the potential upside is decent, and that's the same across numerous alts right now. It's no different. I mean, a really good example of this recently was the coins that TradeSpot was bringing up, for instance, recently with regards to, for instance, RSR. Same sort of chat here. Bodies coming in and we're really challenging here with our previous bodies. That's great to see. Wicks having just come just shy of our previous wick over there. That's going to be visible obviously as well, just because since we've got to talk about TradeSpot, and can mention how he's the Donchian channels over here, for instance, are seeing that we haven't managed to achieve that. So that's what we're looking to. If we do those numbers and you go up towards the 5 cents area, bear in mind this is we were talking about this over here in the channel a while ago now, when it was much cheaper. Then there's, you know, it's hard to come in with these targets, but let's just do it from the all-time, taking it from that crazy wick down to the all-time low, the previous all-time high, the starting sort of initial enthusiasm one, and seeing that we're in at the 1.272. You know, this is lining up again in terms of what we're seeing across the markets right now. Could we go up towards 57 or 5.5 cents, 5.7 cents? Could we then go up towards 7? We could, if we went for the crazy sort of 414. I'm not going to look up towards the 414 at the minute in terms of anything like this, because that's a full 1.5 cents. 14 cents. Whoops. But we could be looking even as high as the likes of like 10 cents and stuff like that. Now that's miles away from where we are now, so that's crazy. Now this is the 24-hour period chart. Dropping down the way, what we have here is the 4-hour, and what we're seeing is the potential for giving you a potential for a rebuy. Now I'm not going to get super predictive on this, but with the 4-hour chart here, seeing this volatility section in the background, and knowing that in the past what we've seen is that at times when the volatility party has stopped, that the that the prices often kind of return towards these levels thereafter. It would offer up a potential fantastic rebuy on this thing if you were to get the prices in there at the low 40s down towards 38 is a really somewhere between 4 cents and 3.8 cents is a fantastic buy in this region here if this were to kind of crash down the way temporarily, to put in a higher low to give us the reset, you know, after in the post volatility section here, as things have happened in the past. Now when it was up at that high, it came back down again, etc. Over here it was at a low, was it? Yeah, and then it came back down again thereafter. So there's opportunity, you know, just opportunity is out there, but if it then goes on the way, you could be looking up. I don't think I've got Cardano Bobs on this one. Let me just stick it on there. Ada Lovecraft. The Lovecraft token. Lovecraft. Ada Lovecraft. Lovecraft, baby, yeah. So how well you've done, my friend. 37 or 3.7 cents or 37 cents. Sorry, it's whatever. 37 cents. Been a while since I've been on this chart. You know that, as you can see with the Fibonacci's and everything else. This is one of the ones I've drawn in where I just hid the starting point. So let's just show it because we're at the all-time highs now. So let's bring back on the 1. Did I actually have it lined up properly as well? Not 100% sure it did. And while trying to draw it in correctly, I'm not 100% sure I care about having it lined up properly anymore. As you can see, we've come up above this with our wick, not with our body. We're in that situation, you know, where we're below the previous body closes over here when we had our previous highs. That's where our wick was. We've been up as higher than with our wick, but we're now currently lower than with our body. Saw the similar sort of structure when Bitcoin was going for its all-time highs, if you can remember back to then. So you can see this sort of a thing as we're coming up. And what does this say to you? Well, you know, we're clearly testing the waters here and you know, having to sort of recuperate thereafter from all of the liquidity that's in there. So there's a degree of that liquidity will have kind of boiled off potentially. Now we've kind of turned around slightly, bright eyes, and we did all of this with divergence. So if we were to see a pullback, this would be an ideal time for it to happen, having come up there and tested that zone, given those that little bit of a liquidity, and then shaking out the weak hands in the market. Is this going to be my area, or is this going to be my area? Now they're both very similar. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. I'll just do it in terms of being tighter on things here. I want to have a couple now. I want to have the ability to finish a sentence. How about that? Let's start with the basics, Rocky. If we do go below the 236, it's lining up, as you might have guessed, where the median line of the Bollinger Band's coming in here, and that price is going to be 35. Now that offers up a nice solid 8% or so retrace in the prices from the previous highs down to 10, 9, 10% retrace, whatever, from the highs, and a decent retrace down from where we are now, even down another few percent down the way. If we do that and then find a turnaround, that would be nice. We have got that divergence. Now the divergence didn't come in the oversold, overbought territory, so it's not that sort of classic end of a run format that you might want to see. We have this convergence between the DM and the DMs, the positive and negative here in the DMI, but we're still positioned in a way that's actually okay, so long as we find a local low. So what it comes into is finding this local low is going to be like of importance to us right now. Saw that stacking up there with that previous, I drew this horizontal line in just based on the previous bodies, as we talked about, stacking up here on that before dropping down the way. You get the impression of where we are just now. This is a fair enough way of looking at it with that Fibonacci. If we did come down for the golden pocket retrace, we wouldn't really be doing anything massive in terms of structure, because on this time frame it just kind of gives you the false impression of previous lows, when in actual fact, here in the 24-hour time frame, it's obvious that that the last low was really down here. And if we did come down to do the 618, well, yeah, okay, we could maybe call this a low, a high, a higher low, and then higher high, etc. You could make that claim. But then again, we don't need to, we could wick down and wick back up again. So in terms of the 4 hours and basing it off of breaking structure on this, it's just premature to do it at that point until you've also done it on a higher time frame. And even at that, then you'd be looking down towards 25. So, that would be before you could really start to go bearish on this and say the trends change. This is there's me saying that it would be a decent buy at 35, essentially, really. Managing your risk accordingly, of course. You wouldn't hold on to something in a negative trend like that. More or less on average, the volume's kind of been going down throughout this period here, but that also makes sense coming up to where the liquidity was going to be. Yeah, this here would could be like a starter pistol for other things, in a sense. The old Cardanos, Do you have an affiliate link for Poloniex? Asks Rocky.outcrop, asks TradeSpot. I don't have one to hand. I could get one. I'll have to double check. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've got a Poloniex account, although I've not used it in years. And on there, they probably do have one. I'll leave this. This finder feet here, very, very good. Could go up past that point. That would be very good to see as well. In terms of Bollinger Bands, if we just to stick them back on there, as you can see, confirming that the 20 simple is indeed the 20 simple, that pushing up towards the top end and having a closure up here is very much within the realms of possibilities. It's only 5% chance that it wouldn't go and close much higher than that right now, but all of this puts us in a position where we're able to take out of our previous high, and we've consolidated a little while in this zone. We do have potential to drop down the way. All of them, we're going to have to look and see how the trend progresses at that point, because in terms of where we are right now, we've not really done anything spectacular in terms of lows. But if we were to get a turnaround here and move up the way, then it would start to look spectacular retrospectively. But in the meantime, and it'd probably ultimately result in another retest as well, to be honest with you, of similar areas. If we fail to do, though, and we fail to take out our previous highs, then it's probably worth mentioning that you could have a head and shoulders in here. This area being a shoulder, this area being a head, and this area being a shoulder. And of course, that coincides now nicely with where the top end of the Bollinger Band is on the 1 hour time frame. So if that were to happen, then it would give you those other potential target entry points that we were talking about already, just dragging this down the way and coming in for the 382 with a nice Fibonacci retracement. Now give you a 33 entry point, 33 cents with the potential on that one. I'll leave the measuring stick in there for now, I suppose, but then if we were to go down past that point, it wouldn't be carrying trades far beyond these areas. And when I say that, quite often times like this, it's probably easier to kind of manage it in terms of doing it on that point, as opposed to getting in and saying, well, hey, look, we're coming down to this line, we're coming at this line, I'll just get in. Easier to manage your risk if you get into it past when we come back up the way a wee bit. If you miss a move because something happens rapidly, don't worry about it. These things happen. That's just life. Life. Oh, life. Oh, life. Oh, life. Have I covered all the coins that everybody asked me to? So far or not? And if so, then that's good, because we're talking here. It's an hour and 10 minutes long, this stream, and that's cool. It gives me a good opportunity to tune out soon. So let me know. And in the meantime, I'm going to have to figure out why you're asking for a friend. Why you're asking for that Poloniex. Oh, because is it something to do with what K King said recently? Because there are some opportunities out there. Or is it something to do with the Oracle coins? Is it something to do with Oracle coins? If we want to have a sort of insider chat about things, let's do like that. Let's ask, is it something to do with Oracle coins? If it is, then I know what you're talking about. Give me a second and I'll go and I'll get, and so do various other people from amongst the community as well. If you're struggling to know what I'm talking about, don't worry, because I couldn't actually fully answer you right now because I can't remember the name of the thing that we were talking about the other day. Let me just bring up one of my other browsers. This will happen off camera, essentially, as I leave the... Well, if I'm going to do this, then I should leave the Bitcoin 15-minute chart on, shouldn't I? Life. Oh, life. I heard the Lighthouse Boys today when I was out, by the way. Anybody remember the Lighthouse Boys? Was it Lighthouse Boys? Is that what they were called? Thinking back now. Lighthouse Family. That song... And I can't remember the words to it now, so I'll not try and put it in your heads. Anyway, I've got it stuck in my head. 15-minute chart, perhaps. Now let's try and log into Poloniex. Poloniex. It's working. I'm logging in. Let me check my balance. It's always great going on to an exchange you've not been in years. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Balance 0. Ah, damn. Wouldn't it have been great to have found some bag of something in there that I previously would have hated or something like that, you know? Wouldn't it have been great? Let's see if I can get a referral for us. Should probably make a new account actually on this one before I get one. I'll stick a referral code in anyway. Don't like this one. It's got too many personal details on it. But then again, yeah, I'm gonna log out, make a new account on this thing so I can get a new referral code, and then I'll pass it into the thingy. How's everybody doing, by the way? He's liking seeing the Bollinger Bands on there. It's a bit noisy, right? I'll just get rid of the Bollinger Bands. We are going to be together and be. Where the f is log out on this thing? I can just do it on this browser. We can do it together. Oh no, you will. No, then you'll see my password. Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay. No. No. Kenny Flan, good to see you, buddy. No dust, yeah, no dust in there, no dust on her. Maybe it's my an account that I didn't actually use or whatever. I don't know. No dust, so annoying. KK, I have Chain X in Hotbit Pool, says Michael John Scott. So like that's some esoteric stuff right there. Hotbit Pool. Well, it's not really. It's a bit. I don't have a Hotbit account, or again, I do. It'd be one of these like the Poloniex one I've not used for years. I thought they'd moved them Adafort to mid-March or Ada. I wonder. Never heard of Hotbit. Could be legit, but see it there. Hotbit looks Chinese. It reminds me of hobbits. It's Gandalf's exchange. Not me looking at 20% price changes and being unfazed because of depression. Oh, okay. That's not good. I hope you're feeling alright, buddy. Or actually what I hope is I've read and misunderstood your sentence, but if I haven't, then, well, that's something that all human beings go through. So I think every single last one of us will be right there with you on that. Not a prejudice, just sick of their geopolitics exploiting the global economy, irresponsible way they spread COVID, and their domestic genocide. Oh, I guess you must be talking about China then, with all those things. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to assume it's China. I really like China. I like China. I'm not sick of their food. I'm not that bothered about lying to their own population, because it happens all the time here, and we're constantly under the thumb in terms of that. The general populace, I mean, the more sophisticated the country is, the better it is at making you think that you're not being controlled, right? So it's all the same sort of stuff. UK became the highest death infection rate in the world per capita for COVID. Go us. Boris doing an amazing job. Yeah, it really is. It's really doing an amazing job. It's always great to get one of those new he's doing crap. KK, no, we'll have a sneaky peek. Right, cool. Guess you could call it a Great Depression, says Kenny Flatton. Ah, the Great Depression. Well, we're probably going to get this thing in the UK. It's been in depression, in not in a technical sense or whatever, but in a sort of real terms sense, when you consider inflation and whatnot, for a long time, and in America it's just been growth. So it's been great over here for that. Cool. Yeah. I'll just go and try and sign out of this thing if Poloniex would let me. I don't know how you sign out. That's really annoying me right now. I could just make an incognito tab or something. That'll get me a new one. Yeah. I'll leave it signed in. Poloniex, they know what they're doing. Keep you nicely signed in. Yes, of course there will be a box for it. Is my keyboard off again? Really need to get some new batteries. There will be a box for it, or a button or whatever, where you hit it and it logs you out. Come on. Aha. Since 2008. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been so crap since 2008 here. So crap. Awful. I talk about it from time to time on the channel when I bring up the UK charts and compare them to the American charts and stuff like that, and it's just you guys over there in the States have got no idea how bad it's been for people over in the UK with successively bad government. You've got like Tory and Labour governments in the UK. In America, you've got Democrat and Republican. They're not the same thing, they're not the same thing at all. And all the rest of it. But people like to think that, that they are. So they like to think that things like the whatever, who cares? I'm not going to go into politics. Sign up. Yeah, sign up. That's what I want to do. Email address, outcroprocky@gmail.com. Password, I'll just use that password. Will you show me my password? No. So, suggest wrong password, please, Google. I was looking at DPI index fund for a top 10 DeFis, but found out there's a 40% fee to withdraw funds. What? 40% fee? What? Really? How does that even work? Is it like some sort of Ponzi type thing? Wait, there is. I've heard of things that are similar to that, but not 40%. I've heard of things that are similar to that. There's some justifications for it which aren't strictly from the world of Ponzi's, but it's pretty incredible. Referral code. Ah, right. So what you want to right. What the heck? What the heck? Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland should just kick England out of the UK. Yeah, I know, and they'd be happy. They'd want that. Making a bit of a generalisation there, but you know what I mean. They would want that. They'd be happy about it. They love it. England would love to have England all for itself at last. At least that's what I seem to find whenever I talk to people about from England. A lot of them are not that bothered. We're I don't know, not that bothered. The politicians are more bothered about the union than anybody else. The politicians and, of course, old people. I'll be with you in just a second. This is taking me so gosh darn long to get one. I'm certainly going to have to edit this part out of the stream. What does everybody think's going to happen when it comes to the Bitcoin prices and all the rest of it? Has anybody got anything that we really want to take a look at for something? Oh, PRQ. You're talking about some coin. So is this maybe what you're looking for? The old Poloniex. For I wonder. You and me, we are save password at long last. That's got to be the strongest password I've ever used, though. So there's that. Where did I get my referral code? I found it really quickly the first time. You all here? No. Wallet? Settings. Referrals. I've got it. It's only taken me all fracking day, but there we go. There we go. There it is. Is the enter button. Is my keyboard just run out of battery? Ah, irony of ironies, eh? Come on. Come on. This is funny. Come on, just enough to hit enter. I'm glad this didn't happen before streaming, or else I'd not been able to unlock my computer. I'm going to actually have to go and get batteries. How annoying. I'll have to nick them out the TV controller. Isn't that so annoying when you have to nick your batteries out the TV controller? Oh, I can hit the send button. Ah, wow, so good that I actually still put those things on sites. Right, so yeah, going to be a bit of an issue when it comes to typing in the letters, but you were saying PRQ, so I guess copy and paste PRQ in, and then go back to my site. I can do this without, hopefully without the, yeah, Poloniex, there it is, sweet. 24-hour chart, woof, and it's been up recently. It's got that same sort of polka dot link up, sideways up thing at the minute, but then just followed with more up. Hardly any volume on this one. It's Poloniex though, so what are you going to do? Got a bit more volume coming in. DMI is just giving that doubly topness in here at the 50. Could it see a turnaround here? Sure it could. Just got across in the stochastics and the bearish divergence, but we've not confirmed it as a low. We've just been putting a high. So, like, I mean, the trend's your friend and all the rest of it. So let's look at it in a lower time frame. Pullbacks down as low as 136 or so, not bad. Gives you just a touch off the median line. Breaking down below that would be kind of crap because, or breaking down below 120 would be crap because putting in a lower low at that stage. There's not a very flaggy low at that point, having had a high which is higher than it. So then it becomes like a descending broadening wedge. If that's the case, of course, then and you do get something like that, then it's one of these ones where it's in a crappy position in order to get a move off of it back to your starting point. You know, that's what happens every time you go towards the top end of it. So that sucks. So it's not. So I wouldn't use it for that. I wouldn't look at it that way. What's going to be the latest low to use? Maybe this one or just this one after. This was like a head and shoulders that could have been but wasn't, and that's the net. I'll just take it from there. If I was spending all day on this, I would look at it a couple of different ways round probably and try and decide what's best. Oh, we're still above the 236, yeah, so that's 145. I mean, you manage your risk there quite easily, stopping out with movements that are, you know, that you don't like the look of. If we were to take out 136, haven't got in at 145 or whatever. Depends on what your appetite for risk is at this stage on this one. In terms of just easy targets towards the top side, though, let's do that real quick. In so-called price discovery mode. I hate seeing that everywhere. People saying it all the time. It really annoys me. When people say it all the time and nobody acknowledges economics. It's not. It doesn't annoy me that much. 1618 in there at 215 would be your next target. Next target after that 250. Next target after that 320. Next target after that 382. Some few nice targets towards the top side in terms of like really pushing on past this latest inflection in the market. If this is going to be, you know, a continued upward trend, it's been very, 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 very good so far. Very strong, nicely working. Nice chart, you know, looking good. These highs good. We haven't taken out that previous high. I mean, in a sense, that 178 probably would be a profit taking target from where we stand currently. Offering up a really great return of here of what, like nearly 20%. So in terms of sort of breaking it down into manageable bite-sized chunks, if I just get rid of this one here, and say that we took a move anywhere from around here, just for argument's sake, what would that look like in terms of a 5 to 1 if we wanted to have 5 to 1? And that's obviously very, very, very generous. 5 to 1, but that'd be stopping out at around about 42 if we actually came in. Yeah, so it's hard to get a 5 to 1 on this without the risk of coming down and stopping out with one of these other moves. But then again, you know, that's fair enough, because I think you probably do it within 5 moves anyhow. You know, in the most simplistic sense, and then it's from that point onwards when things really start to get interesting. So that's a decent enough one. It's a decent enough one. We have got this negative, like, I mean, the bearish divergence here on the DMI, definite turnaround in terms of DMI here in the 4-hour time frame. You know, not looking great or whatever. Definite bearish divergence on the RSI if we take out the 236. Or, you know, yeah, if we take, well, just it currently looks like a local high, right? But it's not confirmed as yet. If we take out the 236, it probably would be in this zone. This is your danger zone between the 236 and the 20 period moving average here on the 4-hour time frame, essentially, is what I'm looking at. Haven't come up above the 236 again so far. Obviously, very good. It's bullish trend. Can sustain it above the 40 line at this point here and give us a second move towards the top side would be good. It would go extremely. It would be extreme at that point, of course. Easiest to manage your trades with those high numbers using stop losses as opposed to actually, you know, sort of picking and choosing targets kind of selectively and letting a bit run. If that were to be the case, you know, that's extremely bullish talk. So there's not much point in that. If we pull back from this point here, it's a rejection of the overbought territory. You know, staying within the bullish control zone as I have it positioned. Obviously, we're actually in the overbought territory at the minute. In terms of other people's RSI, so like, you know, we're above 70, we're above 75. So this is you know, overbought bearish by divergence that's on there at those 2 points, if you want to consider it that way. But I like to. This is one of the reasons why, you know, this is obviously a crunch point. You know, I've moved this up specifically to kind of diminish that type of thing because it's crypto land. And is it possible? Well, yeah, actually, it is possible to keep going. You just have to really manage your risk, and bearing in mind, look at just like final word on this is that from that high down to the low of today, you're talking 28%. And yesterday, what did you have from the high down to the low? This is just the drops. You're talking 26%. The day before, just in terms of the wick alone, was 18%. So to say that there isn't trading to be had, obviously there is. Is it risky? Obviously it is. Like the chances of getting washed out are huge. Now the 28%, which was the downside for today, is of course 42% towards the upside today. So there's huge opportunity. Patience is probably going to pay for itself here if you're looking for patience. Is that your way off, K-Doc? Have a good night, by the way. Good night, everybody. And I tell you what, it's good night from me too coming up soon, okay? Good night from me too soon. So this is going to be the last 5 minutes of the show. If you're just tuning in, that's cool. We'll kind of, you know, introduce ourselves, all the rest of it. If you are just tuning in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. There's good TA during this. It's all live. It's always done live. I do it in a way that hopefully helps kind of shows you how you can do it as well. I suppose from some senses it could be a let's play trading view and that's maybe what I'll call tomorrow's episode for a laugh. But this is hopefully good educational content for anybody. So if you hit that subscribe button, I massively appreciate it. All that stuff, cool. Parsec nailed on for a parachain slot, same as Polka Starter, Kusama, Sarah, Chainx, Acclam, Fala, etc. Well, that's a sentence I never thought I'd find myself saying. Lol. Knight says Zoner, saying goodnight to K-Duck. PRQ is a good idea in my opinion. I don't know what the idea is. Sounds like a ferry company to me. If I'm honest, sounds like P&O or one of those ones. Sora Akala should check my spell checker before posting. Yeah, right. Yeah, well, you fooled me. Now, Cyan, or something like that is what your name is. Nice to have you here, by the way, friend. Yo, Rocky, long time. Yes, it is a long time, but it's good to see you, and you're always welcome here in the family. Once an outcroptician, always an outcroptician. I've still got a bag of etc. Ethereum Classic. 51% tax hit hard. I think confirmations are still super high too, but I'm holding on. Longish term, do you think she'll pop all-time highs? Okay, so for the last couple of minutes of the show, then we'll stick Ethereum Classic on the chart for a second. Get the old Ethereum Classic up. Now, Ethereum 2.0 hasn't necessarily led, or has it, to where is she? Here she is. To these 51% attacks being stopped. That's frustrating. Poof, look at those wicks. Oh my god. Certainly came in and got our 3.618 target towards the top side. If you want to look at that, we've come back down to where we had a liquidity zone drawn in previously. No surprise to find support here then. Very good, in fact, to see this operating in this way, having now not had to actually live through this tsunami ourselves. Seeing the waters receding from the beaches is somewhat positive to know that, of course, we're still within sort of we're still, coping distance. All-time highs on this one are up there at 15 buckaroonies on this particular chart. Still a chance of getting there? Well, yeah, there is. This, of course, is hard. It's hard going, right? It's hard to cope with this. The obvious points for us, there's two of them. There's the one here. This will be March, right? Yeah, March. So let's just take it from March up to where we have it currently. Obviously, this is going to show us some. Let's just draw it in and see. It's going to show us that we're below the 236, but moreover, we're below the 382 and below the 50% line. The next area where the 618 comes in at lines up perfectly with the low end. This is actually the golden pocket, not the 618, but that's 65 where this stops at. A curiosity you'll find with Fibonacci on TradingView is that it always uses the last settings that you just used. So now I've changed it always seems to change. And if you wonder why does this Fibonacci change all the time, it's because if I edit the settings of one, then that becomes the next. Anyway, in here at the edge of this is where the golden pocket is, and there you go. So I mean, historical technical analysis lining up perfectly with the technical analysis as we kind of update it and bring it up to date. This would be your ideal buy price, of course, but that is very, very dangerous to look for that, because you're coming back down to these previous areas that we don't want to be testing again, and you're down below the middle line of the Bollinger Band on the daily time frame. So you don't want to see that happening. But how could we have known that this was a potential? Well, just so you can see how far away we were from the Bollinger Band. Let me just stick the Bollinger Band on from the median line of the Bollinger Band, and then of course when we went towards the top side, just how massively high up we were. And then this next candle, which opened and closed outside of the Bollinger Band, despite coming back down all the way down towards these zones and giving us that 618 retrace straight away. It closed outside there, precipitating further downward movement. Fantastic opportunity. I mean, the amount of money that's been made through this wash here must have been insane for some people, and indeed the losses huge, stopping out non-stop. Well, ultimately by the end of the day you would have found your trade in a ridiculous amount of profit. Like, for instance, you might have been up 50% on your trade, but you got stopped out long ago, that sort of thing. Crazy. We're below the 50% area here now. Of course, this is drawn in wild wicks and everything else, but this is the area to stay above. I don't want to see us crossing down below the median line of the Bollinger Band, essentially, is kind of what this is boiling down to, if you want to just talk about it in those sorts of terms. We have had the turnaround that you would expect to see on all the oscillators as a result of this price action. This came in not bullish, not bearishly divergent, so that's good to see as well. And you know, this could be this is could this be the likes of, you know, grayscale, etc. type of activity in the market? You know, it certainly looks like it could be, in terms of the vast amount of washing that went on here during that. I mean, look, scrolling back in time, there's the candles you've got here, huge, you know, biggest ever, all in that period of time there. So some major stuff on the go. Was this a 50% attack that caused this here to happen? Was that what you were kind of getting at? I wonder. Anyway, the positive story then. So should we see the prices actually break back above the 50%, that comes in there at 920, 930, then things are looking good, and the three upside targets are going to be 1060, $12.40, and then $14 and or $15. But the fact is, you know, that this number here at 1230s is going to be really important for us with regards to the 236 and where we see everything else lining up. If we get a good degree of price movement to bring us up there, pushing up the way and sustaining the price action up the way, then it'll encourage the Bollinger Band to be up there and not give us the same scenario playing out again when we go to try and crack the 236 this time around. But if we, as opposed to this time when we're living outside the Bollinger Band, so we'd have a far better chance of succeeding than we did in the initial retrace, and that's a massive parabolic kind of, you know, that's a massive move that you get as a result of kind of overreaching in a move, you know, and then of course the stop hunt that then pursued thereafter, and then a classic sort of head and shoulders neckline break, if you like, etc., is always good for one of these, with a sort of meh shoulder, a meh head, and a meh shoulder. Well, actually I stretched on past it, so that's your neckline, but there's your other shoulder in this area, kind of giving you one of these with a perfect measured move off the back of it, bringing us down towards that 618. So perfect woomph down on the volume throughout that zone there, throughout the whole thing, in fact, so giving you the correct signature to see here, downward sloping volume throughout this whole period, you know, really tightening off on the Bollinger Bands, waiting for that volatility to come back in. Here we saw volatility come into play. Let's just see how it happened on this chart. It happened here. The prices dropped down, came right back up again, right to where they were whenever the volatility background ended, showing you that the volatility that came into play, well, you know, as a result of the complete lack of strength of trend, while volatility indicators themselves won't show this, by the way. That's one of these little nuanced things there. They won't show it, but there it is. Went down 10%, then came back up 13% in the space of a handful of hours, 5 hours, massive moves. That's volatility, if ever I heard of what volatility means. However, volatility indicators probably wouldn't have shown that, and there you have it there, giving you the fact that you had a moment of volatility in an otherwise not so volatile world. In fact, though, this has obviously actually been quite volatile. I wonder what volatility. Can I be bothered? Can't be bothered looking at it. Be interesting. You could look at that yourself. Sorry. But it can't be. So there's your truth for you. And we saw this happening again here with this candle, this one ending down, up, down, up, down. So huge volatility at the end of that. And what we've just experienced is again the same thing. Now we're not seeing huge volatility, you know, relatively speaking, compared to these previous instances of it, but we are seeing it here, and it all kind of happened within the space of this wee one candle. We're waiting for this. This is going to pop one way or the other soon enough. The trend would tell you it's going to pop towards the top side, so I guess that's what you can go with on that one. Right, gonna catch up with the chat here and do the reverse roll call and tune out. The stream lasted for quite a bit longer than I actually intended it to last, but that's cool because we're all a happy family here, and it's lovely to spend time with you all as well. See, Tradespot earlier on said thanks for the stream, Rocky. Well, you're absolutely welcome. Thanks so much for tuning in as ever. And as well, Jimothy Bloomberg, appreciate the look at ADA. By the way, do you have an opinion on the dot finance projects? Not massively. My opinion is that I haven't done enough research on them. My opinion is that you know, they're difficult to trade in a sense. YFI, it was looking at going up high last night. I actually shorted this last night, by the way. My keyboard died again. Do I have it anywhere else? Maybe I've got it on one of my lists already. is she? It's X, Y, Z. No, so Y is before Z. It's after X though. X, Z, X, Z, X, Z. Seems I haven't got it written in here, and my keyboard batteries have run out, so I'm not going to type it in. What can you do? I shorted that last night. I wonder what the prices worked out for it as. I took profits fairly quickly on that one. It was just a little scalp move. Those were my favorite moves, trade spotting. Those are my first moves. I'm planning to get a grip on a lot of concepts thanks to you and Rocky and the rest of the gang in here. That's cool, Artie, by the way. You're doing really well. You've come to the right place. The way I talk about charts is sometimes I'm dismissive about things, and sometimes I talk about things in a way that's like, oh, that's kind of doesn't really matter or whatever, and it isn't in that sort of typical Jobsworth fashion that a lot of other people do, where they're very precise about things, and that's in no small part to help actually educate you and give you that confidence that you could kind of approach things and start learning to do things as well yourself properly. Now, of course, as well, there is a right way and a wrong way, and I don't dispute that, and I tend to do things the right way or whatever. But also, we learn little other ideas that, I mean, I know what a lot of the content out there is like. I've seen it all and all that myself. I know what it is, and it's all as old as the hills, and nothing will ever change. So I kind of tried to position myself here with this channel in a way that's slightly different, that explains things in a slightly different way, gives you that slightly different look at things. And if the way that I've learned things over the years is anything to go by, then it hopefully it's transformative, and it helps really seal in a few different concepts that you might otherwise not have had. That's what I try to do. I try to do it. Like, for instance, here when we're looking at the Ethereum Classic and talking about this liquidity thing, and then talking about where the 618 comes in at, and how this line here is the end of the golden pocket, and how the settings and the Fibonacci change every time you use it, and the strengthening of the weakening of the trend, or the tightening of the Bollinger Bands, and how the Bollinger Bands go tighter when this moving 20 period moving average goes sideways. The volatility here, the numerous lessons that exist inside this one episode alone, which are exclusive to this channel as far as I know, from all of my research, which is fairly extensive. I've never seen them mentioned anywhere else, and that's why I try to talk about. So that's why so often you find me talking about the same sorts of things, because we go quite deep on these, and over a period of a year watching the show or whatever, you'd think, wow, I really know a lot about these things here. That's what you would think about yourself. So you hopefully would know a lot about these things at the end of the year, and in a way that has a full understanding, whatever. So yeah, and you're all super welcome and all that good stuff. I really love it. Right, sweet. Reverse roll call time, I do believe. So thank you so much for tuning in. First off, as well, thanks to Marcin Albekier. I said, oh yeah, I'm sure you're learning a lot here, and it's fantastic. Thank you for tuning in. By the way, I wrote a reply to you in Polish. I'm assuming that you speak Polish, but I didn't actually ask you if you speak Polish. Wrote a reply to you in Polish on the YouTube comments recently, Marcin, so I hope you understood that. All I was saying was thanks for being a subscriber and all that sort of stuff. Those other guys are the exact reason I'm here. I know well enough to know that I had my doubts about them. I'm not bringing anybody else down or whatever. Just think that they're going to teach you something. You know what it's like. We all know what it's like from any lesson that we've ever had in life, from any time in life at all, that there's like a way of learning how to do things, and then there's a way of learning how to do things well. And the well part is that on the 80-20 split, is the 20 part is the hard effort part, where you don't regurgitate what just somebody else says, but you really kind of involve yourself and allow it to become a passion. You need it to drive you that extra way, and I know that last 20% is the most difficult part for everybody, including other YouTubers or whatever, and that's what I want to be the spirit guide on, that particular, smooth out that little bit for you, and if you start with this and then pick up the 80% elsewhere from other things, or indeed when I myself eventually get around to making these sort of educational videos and whatever else to really help, then you'll get that full understanding and sticks with you for life. I mean, as well, I know from learning languages and all the rest of it, how the difference between learning something from a short-term basis to a long-term basis. Oh, good, you do speak Polish. Well, you've got that one, but still, that's cool. Right, sweet. Anyway, Gonna do this. Gonna do it. I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna do it now. So, thank you so much. And actually, I tell you what, I'll stick up the credits. Right? I'll stick up the credits. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Last few seconds here of the charts being on the screen. I'll just stick up the Bitcoin chart so you can see where we stand right now. I'll hide the Bollinger Bands because I have them so thick on there so that they're visible to see at home, and the points that I make tend to be about the Bollinger Bands and everything. So I want, when I'm talking about the Bollinger Bands, I don't just stick them on and then kind of ignore them and put them in the background. If I'm going to have them on the screen, you're going to be talking about them, so they're very thick and visible. Cool. Everything went along with what we were saying before earlier on. Kept going towards the top side just there, coming to the 36,000s easily enough. We're waiting to see if this turns out to be a sort of, if we get a failure point here and we don't come up any higher, then of course you're going to be looking towards these zones as being your neckline. Coming back down towards this green line could be, of course, fine overall. As we can see, that's really where our last low was. You do have a low here, sure you do, but you've got all these other little lows as you do head and shoulders, head and shoulders, head and shoulders as part of our trend. This is a 15-minute time frame. So what we're seeing curiously at the minute is this sort of shoulder, head, shoulder, measured move down the way, shoulder, head, shoulder, measured move down the way, perhaps, which is actually forming the higher lows along the way in terms of the bigger time frame, in terms of like the 1 hour time frame. So you see how that's working out right now. That's interesting. Maybe, again, that's just another one of these little lessons that I tried to put out there. That's what we're looking at right now. I wonder how it pans out. I'm going to go to the final scene screen. I think actually, yeah, keep the charts on this one, and the charts up here as well. Whoop! Here we have it, the final scene screen. Although the chart isn't here, I'll put the chart on, shall I? I'll stick the chart on so you can see the chart, and then I'll run the credits. How exciting, because there's a name on the credits. I'm excited about the credits. I know nobody else is. Apart from perhaps Dennis. Me and Dennis sat here getting super excited. Come on, add source. Come on, Streamlabs. You know you want to. Everybody at home's waiting for you, Streamlabs. Come on, give us the browser. There we have it. Right. So, this is supposed to be full screen. So if I just full screen this up over here, my computer seems to be running a little bit slow at the minute. I think that's probably Streamlabs doing that to me. Come on, right now. How do we get the credits up? This is where it gets exciting. Hopefully. If this works. Where it gets exciting for me and Dennis. And everybody else too. I'm still going to do the reverse roll call, by the way, people, so don't fear. Oh, the whole screen's up. Oh, the chat's covered. I'll stick the chat up on top of this in a second. But yes, thanks to Dennis for his generosity here on the show with that. I just hit the button to say thingy, but it didn't show up on screen because I don't have it. I've got the layers in the wrong layer thing. Anyway, yeah, so let's bring up the credits. Let's roll the credits. Sweet. Are they gonna work? Are they gonna work? Oh, of course, everything's covered by my browser window. Whoops. Stick this down here somewhere. Wait, Dennis, see this, Dennis? You're on there. You're on here. So I thank you all for the watch. Please, thank you, please. Thanks for watching. Like and support and subscribe. Patreon link in there, by the way, for people. Just type. I can't type. My battery's dead. Keep forgetting. Patreon.com/rocky.outcrop if you want to be doing the whole Patreon jazz. I actually don't have any Patreons. I've technically, Joel, you're a Patreon still, but you're on a level that doesn't exist. Demo stopped being a Patreon immediately after I exposed his email live on stream. Hey Peter, oh, it's good to see you, Peter. I'm gonna have to catch up with you on Discord. I'll have a chat with you tomorrow. I'll try and have a chat with you tomorrow at some point and catch up. It has been a long time. I hope you're really doing really well. It's really good to see you again. I'm sorry for having missed you the last couple of times when we've wanted to talk and not chatted. By the way, for everybody who's wondering, me and Peter we just chat to each other sometimes. Like, human beings, friends, and that. He's one of the outcropticians. I think he's a fantastic gentleman. Anyway, yeah, Dennis, check it out. Your name is on the screen. Donor Dennis. There you go. That's brilliant. Donor Dennis. If one day maybe someone will come along and their name will be Shawarma or something like that, and it'll be Donor Shawarma come up, or their name will be Kebab. It could be Donor Kebab comes up. Wouldn't that be great? I have to find somebody on YouTube who's got the name Kebab and get them to donate to the channel. Okay, let me see here. Bring up this full screen, I suppose would be better if it would oblige. Yeah, that's maybe better. Stick it back in the old 15 minutes is here. So obviously we don't want to see this happen, you know, in terms of the 15-minute chart, but if it does, it's nothing unusual because we have already discussed that, and that's how we've arrived at our destination so far. Really, that's just the sort of the short-term stuff, and it is time for the reverse roll call. So better late than never, I suppose. And I'll start with Peter here. Good to see you, brother. It's always good to have you here. And then I'll start with my other brother, TradeSpot. Yeah, good to have you here as well. Good to get it would be good to get the Patreon going. Oh, it would be good to get the Patreon going. By the way, yeah, so I don't have really any Patreons. When I get the Patreons on the go, then I'll use that money to provide to buy, you know, better equipment like microphones and whatever. Now, that's not that I couldn't afford to buy a microphone, but I'm actually just going to run this YouTube channel like a business for 2021. I know, can you imagine it? I'm going to try and make it so that it actually covers its own costs. Who knows if we'll get there? Highly doubtful, but you know, if we did, that'd be good. So at the minute, I've got a sort of microphone fund and a camera fund or whatever, and that's what that is. That's what Patreon's for. Whatever. So Artie Pyle says, hit those likes if you haven't already and give a subscription. Absolutely. If you haven't done that, it would be great, and that's super appreciated, and you're appreciated for tuning in. Zoner giving the teary face. That's good that you're having a laugh there with the old donor kebab stuff. Peter here, yeah, it's good to see you like that. It's like I say, Seyhan. I don't know how you pronounce your name, if it's Seyhan or whatever, but that's what I'm going with. And who else? Yeah, Kevin King, King 1367, my friend Kevin, and he is always coming up with gems. So someone to chat to if you're interested in sort of edge case gems. Of course, high risk, high reward, all that sort of jazz. You know, emphasis perhaps on the risk side of things. Marcin Albekir, you are a star. You donated $5 recently. That's really appreciated as well, of course, as ever. Nightbot, I'll give you a shout out. It's good to have you, Nightbot. Jimothy Bloomberg, one of the best names ever. Jimothy Bloomberg. That's quality. That's great. He says, I'm excited earlier on, so that's cool. Michael John Scott, that's good to have you here, John, as ever. So thank you so much for joining. And RT Pyle again as well. Let me just keep reading up here and see who else. I don't want to miss people, but I only have the last 200 messages on screen at the time, so it's always, if I've not said your name, it's because you haven't chatted for 5 minutes or something. K-Doc, yes, you were here earlier on and then you tuned out. You didn't stay tuned for this part. Oh, Gerardo Gomez, I'm a Silver Wrench mod. Hi, guys. Hi, Gerardo. Sorry I missed that one. That was funny. Yeah, good to see you. It's nice to have a Silver Wrench mod in here. Live long and prosper, my friend. I wonder how you're doing, wonder where you're from, wonder where you get that name from, and if it's Gerardo Gomez, I suppose, instead. Kenny Flatten, good to have you here as well, enjoying the Great Depression with us all. We're all enjoying it. Yeah, Coinbase dust isn't even dust. It's like $5 each coin. Yeah, it would be good to have had some of that, but there you go. I didn't have it in that account. What can you do? What can you do? What can you do? Eh? If anybody wants to take advantage of those Coinbase dust things, then you probably find a link in my description to Coinbase and all that stuff. And there's also the other places to earn channel in the Discordia if you want to join in there. Keep on scrolling, looking for those names that I've missed, because I don't want to miss people, but there's always a chance that I would. Last one I said was Kenny Flatten. John Torpy, yes, John Torpy. We did take a look at Cardano earlier on, so you get your wish. That's cool. Navanethan, yes, Navanethan. Sivabala Vikanaraja. Yeah, I got that pretty close. Always fantastic to have you here, especially when you're competing with the other friend of whose name I've kind of forgotten, who has the best name, one of the best names. Oh, it's a close one. I mean, I'm going to give it to you, Navanethan. I'm going to give you the prize, Navanethan. You've got the best name, but it's nice to have had somebody actually put up a decent bit of competition for you on that front. 3,000 Trin. I think Rocky's plant is dying, so he just turned the cam like he's nothing to see here. Lol. You know what? I'm really looking forward to showing you their virulence. Yes, they're actually really healthy. They're really healthy. I'll show you them soon whenever the good weather comes back. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. We've only got a couple of months to go. Easy dot staking on Kraken, says 3000 Trin. Well, if ever an advert for Kraken there be, then that I guess was it. Thank you so much for tuning in, by the way, my friend. Looking on up the way, Scotty Sniper. That's right, Scotty Sniper, you were here. We also had Brandon here, and maybe even got that guy's name in here. Yes, Abdurrahim Ozaklaser. Quality. And I think, you know what, I think that's me covered everybody that was in here. So you've all got a wee shout out back from me if you did drop a message in the chat, unless I've missed your name, in which case I apologize, because I always intend to get everybody on that thing, because I appreciate the contribution that every single last one of you makes. Okay, so thanks so much for tuning in. Drew's Tech, hey Drew's Tech, you got in at the last second. Thank you so much for hitting like as well, and I'll see you all again next time. Thank you, Jihan. All right, cool, Jihan, nice one. Cool, nice one. All right, it's been good. I'll see you next time. Hope you